Hey guys, good Monday morning. It's January 6th, 2025. That doesn't even seem right. It's 8:40 Eastern time here. Michael Clark with BAMWX.com. We're going to talk about the continued winter pattern that's going to be set in here for the next several weeks. Cold weather, winter storms, Arctic air blasts, you name it. Even a couple of East Coast storms aren't going to be out of the question. Tune into the video. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel to keep yourself updated with the latest long-range forecast analysis going forward. Expert analysis, too, not just hypey analysis. This is real analysis, all right? And here's proof of that. This is the analysis back from December 13th. You see the post there on X. And this is what I had said. Colder and stormier the 3rd through the 10th. It's the 6th. We've got a huge winter storm going on that's impacted 13 states across the country, severe weather to the south. Yeah, January 10th through the 30th, there should be a lot of winter. That's exactly what's going to happen. And that was said nearly a month ago. That's the type of analysis I try to give you here on these videos is a good one, is an accurate one, right? Radar this morning across the Mid-Atlantic, Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic here from the Clarity platform. You can see the winter storm continuing here to move out into the Mid-Atlantic. And just real quick here, I'm going to move this over. I'm turn on the freezing line. This is where, all the temperatures are, if you look just nationwide, where temperatures are below freezing. So when you look at this on a large scale, the only place above freezing right now is about 6 states here in the southeast, maybe, and then out here in California and the desert southwest. But most of the country this morning below freezing temperatures right now. Actual air temperatures -8 degrees there in the Central Plains, -13 there. Here in Indy, it's 20 degrees. Up in the Northeast, it's 17 degrees. It's cold. It's stormy, and yeah, I tell you, just a lot of winter going on. Nice snow swath coming in here into the Mid-Atlantic. Again, here's your snow forecast next 24 hours. Southern New Jersey there, getting a nice hit, getting into portions of Delaware as well. A nice storm, nice snow coming in. Yesterday we had, severe weather in the Deep South. Actually, we had not a huge day, but 30 severe weather reports in early January. Nonetheless, 4 tornado reports across the Deep South with the storm system. Well, what's in store here for the week ahead, the next 10 days or so? And I'm going to show you this here. This is the Canadian's weather model here from tropicaltidbits.com, powered by Levi there, and does a great job with his images, his graphics. Wanted to show the Canadian here this morning. That storm moves out. There it goes. See you bye. And next storm starts to get its act together late week. See that they're down around Texas. Watch this. Watch that low come in from the Gulf of Mexico. That piece comes in actually from the Pacific, swings over into the Gulf, and boom, a storm system develops here in Louisiana, possibly by as early as Thursday evening into Friday, looking at the latest Canadian model. And one thing I want to talk about here real quick and mention is that snow and storm systems in winter, they like to find that baroclinic zone. They like to find the baroclinicity between a good snowpack and just south of it. The lows like to find those, which leads me to believe this low pressure center may be inclined to track northward a little bit as we get closer into later this week. Not that it's a guarantee that it will, but there's a lot of snow down here across the central U.S., and I would imagine the storm is going to be a little attracted to that as we get closer. So look for some northward clicks. Nonetheless, it's a big storm. Could be a nice Miller B type storm up the coast potentially into a nor'easter. We'll see. There's a lot that has to come together here. This is the Canadians' particular view of this, but another storm Friday into Saturday, and then another Arctic blast behind it. Gets real cold. Look at this at the end. Look what starts to happen. Another storm works in. I think we're looking at a bigger storm risk here by the 15th through the 18th or so of January. The GFS is trying to hint at a big system here. It's going to have a tough time with really nailing down the specifics. But nonetheless, there's going to be a big storm in here. That was the overnight run. Here's the 0Z run. I think there's another big storm in this time frame that we need to watch closer to the 16th through the 18th. But it's just storm after storm with this pattern, quite frankly. It's storm after storm. And with the teleconnection set up, there's a lot of confidence with that, with me saying that, right? So a couple of the things that I look for in situations like this is the fluctuation or the movement of the northern hemispheric blocking pattern, because I'm looking over Greenland, I'm looking over the northern hemisphere, I'm looking over the North Pacific and the Pacific Northwest here at these teleconnections. Note where we start to see the decline here in the P&A. That's the first signal. That's around the 17th of January. Also note the negative Arctic oscillation decline here. That's a signal of a front coming through a little bit too as well. Note the decline here a little bit in the NAO and again in the EPO. The EPO is going negative here. Models are setting up for a signal of a big storm the 16th through the 18th of January. That could be another big winter storm. All right, I'm drawing this on here so you all can keep your eyes on that date. But note in the extended with the EPO as well, how it's going negative and the P&A is going negative as well. The pattern is going to retrograde. It's going to shift west. For the time being, this is the pattern setup, really, the 15th through the 25th of January. Before that, I do want to mention, before this time frame, basically now through the 15th, I think there's a setup in here for some snow in here as well. All right, you could probably draw that back into Texas. There's going to be potential for snow up and through the deep south and up into the east coast as well before this particular window, because as the pattern steps back, we're going to pull this back with it. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. But this is an encouraging look here if you like winter. GFS polar vortex forecast. All right, watch the swing here, day 10 to day 15. Watch what the 50 millibar vortex does over Hudson Bay. Pacific blocking, EPO comes in. There it is. Boom, nudges poleward, sends another lobe of the vortex down in there. PV is going to continue to play along. It's going to continue to offer up shots of Arctic air. There's no question about it. It's going to be warm until about the 27th of January. We're going to keep it warm. We're going to keep getting, cold. Gosh, it's going to be cold. We'll start warming up around the 27th of January in the east and southeast. All right, and that's kind of what I'm going to talk about here going forward in just a moment. This is the European Ensemble, 15-day temperature departure. Just watch this. I'm going over the next 15 days. There's the snowpack, by the way. Watch that southern storm late week to hug that snowpack, get closer to it. Go forward. Reinforcing shot of cold behind the storm this weekend. There it is right there. Boom. Gets cold again. Continuing to go forward. Watch this load out here. See that? Right there at the end. Boom. Okay, that's going to load up. This is going to moderate down into the south and east. You're going to get a storm in here, and you're going to pull in some big cold. All right, that's the EPS is already signaling that. In fact, if I go to the upper air temperature profile or the temperature anomaly forecast, the 850, you're going to see it real well. Right, look at that. There it comes. Okay, you can see it starting to happen. The pattern kind of doing its thing here, retrograding. Looking at this, what does that look like, or what am I talking about? Well, what I'm talking about is here's where we are, right? This storm system that just came through, I want to talk about real quick. Look at where the ridge axis is in the Pacific Northwest. The ridge axis is here. Okay, here's your trough. This is when your ridge axis is here. This is why you have problems with P-type. All right. Now we had a big Arctic Greenland block here that absolutely helped to shove Arctic air into the north side of this. But when you have the P&A up in this region, you're going to have P-type issues in storms. You just are. It's just the way it goes. Watch what the pattern does with the next storm, though. Watch this. See this right there? Look at the ridge axis here. Look how far it is. East. Watch how it retrogrades. Next storm. Now look where it's at. It's shifted west by about 500 miles. Okay? This storm is going to have the potential, quite frankly, to probably bring a pretty decent swath of snow somewhere in here. I think there could be a decent swath of snow. If you follow the NWS OBS, S plus or SN plus, whatever you want to call it, heavy snow, that could be the idea. Again, ridge axis was here, shifted here, and that's going to shoot up another area of low pressure here, and it's going to be inclined to want to check that storm track out for snow. Watch what continues to happen. Watch this in the extended. There's another low there. Watch the ridge come back east, though. It's going to present a problem. You're going to moderate a little bit. You're going to moderate before the next big one. Then watch this. Watch the change. Watch the ridge in the PNW and the Aleutian Islands. It's a handoff. Look at the pattern retrograde. Look at the date, 17th, 18th, 19th, boom. This right here is a classic plus T and H pattern that is going to produce a lot of wintry action here, especially in this region here. Okay, probably a couple big storms, a couple of big shots of Arctic air that'll come into the Midwest and the Great Lakes. It can start to get a little more mild in here late January, especially into February. That warmth can grow, but that gradient showing up and the ridge axis being this far back north and west opens up the door for cross-polar flow and bigger snowstorms. It's just what it does. It's just, that's the pattern right there. That's a textbook pattern for big snows. So something to watch here in the coming days, okay? After this, I'm going to talk about the MJO real quick. Takes us out to the 20th of January, goes into phase 3. I think by about the 26th to the 28th of January, as we are in here, we're going to start seeing moderation take place in the East Coast, okay? And start to see that southeast ridge flex a little bit and the pattern retrograde all in all. Here's the phase 2 of the MJO. The phase 2 looks like the day 15 EPS I just showed you. Looks identical. Okay, got the ridging in the southeast, weak gradient, strong trough central northwest, big ridge in the EPO. Okay, exact representation, no reason to disagree with it whatsoever. Phase 3, look what it does. It goes further back. We might lose the cross-polar flow in the Arctic connection, and the east and the southeast run the risk of getting warmer. You run the risk of backing up the winter storms into the central plains, getting into February. Okay, that's what that pattern would do. The GEFS weekly kind of shows this pretty nicely. I'm going to show you the overall pattern evolution here. Here's week 3. Okay, just what I just talked about. Nice pattern for snow, for winter lovers. Week 4, it's still there as the pattern departs. You're probably going to get another big snow. Probably going to have a couple of big storms. Probably 16th, 18th, 23rd, 25th. Call it. Okay. Look what this does here into February. Watch. Look at the southeast ridging. All right. It brings it back in a good way. Now, when we look at the temperature departure, all right, you can see it's cold really up until about the last week of January, or the last third, or second to last week, I'm sorry, the last week of January. May start to moderate a little bit, okay? And then you can see what it does here. It erodes some of the cold, and a little bit warmer suggestion. But this is interesting. You know, look at just the 35-day ensemble mean snowfall suggestion. You can't take this verbatim, but it just shows you how much snow's in the picture from an ensemble mean standpoint and where the focus of it is. You know, the focus of snow between now and the 1st of February is going to be up and through here. And there could be a one or two along the deep south and east coast, no question. Just a generalized pattern idea. But this is the control version of it. It's even heavier. Doesn't see the east there, but it doesn't mean it's right. ECMWF weekly, same thing. Look how loaded it is. A lot of snow. Next 46 days. Yeah, ECMWF weekly control, man. It's incredible. That's a lot of snow. Look at this here in the Ohio Valley. Good night. You know, that's the season's normal snow here in Indy, in just 4 to 5 weeks. So that's the outlook for today. Plenty of winter left. Plenty of winter left to come. It's going to stay cold until the 25th or 27th of January with a couple of big storms, and then we'll look for an East Coast moderation coming in thereafter. So share it with a friend. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.